Okay, just gonna real quick get this all set up and stuff. Actually, I should turn up the... I should close that. I'm gonna turn up the desktop audio a bit, just to make sure that we can hear what I'm doing. So, no music this stream, because I am mixing. I just thought that this was... I am mixing one of the demos... Hey! I'm mixing one of the demos for the CV-C rec list that I think I might have... You've probably seen the demos on my channel. Or Twitter, that too. But, I've already kind of gotten started, but like I thought... I'm doing alright! I'm doing alright. It's been kind of a wild and crazy week for me, but I'm doing alright. But yeah, I already kind of got started, but then I thought, you know, this is a good opportunity to show how I mix, because it's not exactly orthodox. Most people use better programs than Audacity, but I've gotten so good at using Audacity that I don't think I could learn anything else. So, basically what I've done is, you get your instrumental, your vocal renders. Make sure that, if you're rendering from Mutao, it'll render in mono. The easiest way to do that is if you double-click it, and then you can hit Control-D to duplicate. So if I hit Control-D, it makes another track exactly like that one, and if you do that with 2 mono tracks, you can then go to here, and this Make Stereo Track button will be available, and that's basically what this is. I also already equalized the instrumental. Basically, the way you do that is you highlight all your things, you go to Analyze, and you hit Plot Spectrum. Yeah. Sometimes that happens, don't worry about it. But then anyways, it'll give you this chart. So basically, this is just a graph chart of all of the frequencies in your vocals. So you want to find, you see where it says peak down here, so you want to hover over the peaks and find, like, the 3 loudest ones. And then, like, keep track of what number it says. And then you want to get your instrumental out. I use a plugin called Equilibre. And I might, but basically this is, so you would find the frequencies that match your thing, and then you would just sort of adapt them and apply that over the instrumental. But I've already done that. Oh, and of course the first thing you should always do when you're mixing is just time the vocals to the instrumental. If you want, you can load up the original vocal and then like find where it starts in the thing. So like you can zoom in really far and you can be like, okay, that starts at that beat, and then you zoom in a little further and try to line up the beat with the original starting point of the song. The other thing I did is I used Spitfish, which is a tool that gets rid of those sharp hissy S noises, which is nice. And I did a little other equalizing on the vocals. Basically, you want to make sure there's not too many bass frequencies, or else it'll sound kind of muffled and gross. Right, so then the next thing you want to do is effects. So the main thing here is, this is the harmony line, so we take our harmony line. I use DD Chorus for this. I also know a trick for how to do it without the plugin. Yep. But basically, it just has like this nice factory preset, and you just slap that on there. And so instead of just sounding like a... Yeah, it's a good one. I'm relatively new to the Vocaloid fandom, so I just kind of recently discovered it, but it's a good one. So we do that, and you see it made a change down here, so now instead of, like, just the straight vocal like how you were hearing earlier, now it sounds like this. And so that'll help it. So like now it's sort of in the background instead of sounding like. Like, the main thing with this stuff is that you want it to blend with the instrumental, but not too much. It's all about finding that sweet spot between volume and effects, where it sounds like it's part of the music and not just sitting on top of the music or being drowned out by the music. So then what you'll notice, so then duplicate the main line, because that way you can put all the reverb on the duplicated line. Oh, I clicked the wrong thing. But yeah, so then you can put your chorus effect and reverb and stuff on that line, and then you can adjust the volume of this line independent of the volume of that line, and that'll be important later. I just realized I didn't actually... Hang on a second. I'm still here. I'm just gonna link the... Just gonna link the link around. Okay. Good enough. I just didn't want you guys to have to stare into the void while I took care of that. Okay. Yeah! I got Audacity because it was the first free audio editor I could find, and then I spent 2 years learning how to use it in an adequate manner. And then I think I want a reverb effect. I usually use Vocal 2 for, like, backing vocals and this duplicate of the main line. That already sounds better. But what I think I want to do is I want to put the chorus effect on the main part of this too. Hey Aryo! Nice of you to join us! No problem, my dude! I'm glad I could be helpful. Because I kind of want to use an effect to make those stand out a bit more. I also think I should add the reverb effect in addition to the chorus effect on the harmonies. Okay, so obviously the vocals are too loud, and we'll deal with that later. Right now, volume balancing, that comes last. Don't try to balance it before you add all the effects and stuff. It will not make your life easier. Also, just a quick note, I noticed that the Equilibre plugin occasionally adds this weird little blip to the beginning of the... Yeah, just you can just click this, just highlight it and click that button to mute it, and it'll take care of that problem. Sometimes plugins in Audacity do that, and I'm not entirely sure why. Also, I think I should turn this down. Maybe... Okay, well, I'm noticing there's some serious peaking going on in these. No, not you. Let's try decay limiter for a second, just to have a preset. That should be about right. There is a pitch change effect in Audacity. There's also, I use a plugin called DD Chorus. Dead Duck Chorus. You can find it online, it's free. So yeah, I use that a lot to make sure that my chorus effects aren't. Before I found that, though, I did... let me just show you something real quick. I'm just gonna save this. And then I'm gonna... oh, shit. I'm gonna turn you guys off for a second so I can pull stuff up on my computer. So, like, if we... I'll just import the main line in a new project. So, like, one of the first mixing tricks I found with Audacity is that, okay, so we've got our line here. It's mono. It kind of sounds...
just be friends.
Yeah. So if we take that and we duplicate it twice, and then we zoom in, like, a bunch. We move this track, like, left a little and right a little, and then pan them accordingly.
Just be friends. All we gotta do is just be friends.
And you can fake a chorus effect that way, which is really nice. It's also nice if you... Another good way to do it is, like, if you want to render an untuned version and layer that on top and then do the chorus effect with that, that can make your project a lot more interesting if you don't know where to find... That's not what I wanted. If you don't know where to find the plugin I was using. But yeah. Yeah, it's really nice. It's really nice. Like, I also tend to... What am I... I don't know if I should... What am I thinking here? I think... I'm trying to, like, figure out how to get the effect that I'm imagining in my head. I think if I add... If we take our secondary main line, and we add... What am I thinking? Yeah. I just kind of got lazy once I found the plugin, if I'm gonna be honest. What am I thinking here? Do I want... almost like an equalization effect? I use the telephone preset for that. Maybe. No. Vocoder? Like, there's a way I want it to sound in my brain, but I don't know exactly... No, not this vocoder. Don't use the built-in vocoder with Audacity. It's garbage. You want to download a different vocoder, like I got the Tel vocoder here. Just make sure input mode is on, because... Don't use... Oh god, no. And then after you do that, you want to use the limiter again, just to make sure it doesn't do all that crazy peaking in red. I don't know if that was what I was looking for, but it's cool, so we're keeping it. I'm just gonna turn it down a little bit.
だ昨日の朝早くに割れたグラスかき集めるようなこれは一体なんだろうきっと指から滴る雫僕とはこんなことしたかったのかなわかってたよ心の奥底では最も辛い選択とですとそれを傾き怖いと結果しかと
Right. So maybe a little smaller. I wanted to make sure that the volume is about the same as the rest of the track. Fun fact, the tutorial where I learned the shifting it right and left to make a chorus effect was for human vocals. And so, like, I'm watching this tutorial and the guy's like, okay, sing the line again and then put the effect on that thing, since you can't sing it the same way twice, identically, because that's not how humans work. And I'm literally just looking at this tutorial and I'm like, okay, what do I do if it's not a human? And it does sing things identically both times. Identically both times. And so eventually I settled on, if you use an untuned version layered on top of a tuned version, it'll make that effect of, like, multiple people singing. Or I suppose if you wanted to, you could tune it again in a different fashion. That sounds like a lot of work, though. Alright, yep, that's... Don't... Okay, so there's another... Yeah, exactly! Like... Yeah, that would work great. I haven't thought of that before, but that makes a lot of sense, and that would probably sound really good. Let's see, I think this is where the Just Be Friends starts again. Yep. Okay. I want to make sure I do this on the right track. There we go. Right. So then, basically, I'm just going to recreate the effect I used on the other part. Not you! Not you! And then turn it down. That should be about right. Maybe? No, that's too quiet. I think that sounds about right. That looks about right, right? Yeah, that's about right. And then I think what I'm also gonna do is I'm gonna put the... Since this comes right off the heels of the chorus. No, that's not... I hit record on accident. Stop doing that. Whoops. Chorus. No, that's not... I hit record on... There we go. Just gonna move on with our lives here. Just gonna put that equalization effect on there so that it doesn't quite sound... think this is almost too loud. Just a little quieter. I'm also gonna try to because these peaks can really mess up your volume adjustment in the end. Because I do think this is just a little too loud still. Right, okay. Man, this is clipping like crazy. I do not look forward to having to... Yeah, so you can kind of hear how, like, the USTs flipped the Just Be Friends to the harmony line this time, and that kind of... So what I'm basically gonna do is I'm gonna import the harmony line again. Mute everything except for that end part. And then use that as the clear line for the Just Be Friends part. Wait, let me just make sure I didn't... Okay. Silence that. And Control D duplicate. Make stereo track. I also like to make sure I generate a couple seconds of silence at the end for the reverb to spill over into. So we just go generate silence, enter in the number, and then I usually do like 2 or 3. I'm leaving it at 1 second because that, I don't know. I was using it to edit voice banks, because sometimes I get a commission and there's like no space at the end, and so I want to make sure that... No, I got a commission and there was no space at the beginning. And I was like, I need to make sure that I know exactly how much to shift the parts I've already odoed by. So I added exactly a second to the beginning of each recording. Right, so now this will sound clearer. Probably too clear. Yeah. So we're gonna... ED chorus. Turn that down a little bit. What I think I'll... that might have been too much. That might be about right, actually. Maybe a little bit louder. I'm gonna put the vocoder on it. Hey Zan! Nice to have you! I'm mixing a thing. Just gonna real quick... We're still kind of in the effects phase of mixing. There's like 4 phases of mixing, and like the first one is like timing, and then equalization, and then effects, and then volume management. And then you do mastering. Okay. Yeah. Alright. So then with that said... I think it's the track underneath it. Okay, so... volume management time. This is the part of mixing where you make a lot of questionable decisions and then you try for 5 hours and then it just doesn't go your way and you give up. Right, so what I'm gonna do, Control-Shift-M, mix and render these tracks to new tracks. Mute the old tracks. Because as you can see, the vocals got very, very loud in places, and not quite as loud in others. I like Control-Shift-M because instead of... Where is it? Edit? No. Yeah, there it is. The Audacity had an update and the whole interface moved, and I just... But, like, you can... There's a difference between mix and render to new track. And mixing and rendering to new track means that these tracks still exist, and I can go back and fix them if I need to. So basically, I'm gonna use the ATK limiter to handle some of those peaks. No. About there. Wait, that might be too much still. Let's try about there. There we go. So that'll take care of all that jumpiness that was happening. Hopefully without sacrificing any audio quality. That's the thing you gotta be careful with the limiter, because sometimes it'll... Perfect. So then what I want to do is a similar thing with the harmony line, because like right there at the end, that kind of got awkward. Except this one we can turn up a little higher since the harmonies are supposed to be quieter. Maybe a bit higher than that, if I'm being honest. Let's try that again. These load times, though, am I right? Yeah, there we go. There we go. And then the other thing I want to do is to make sure that this part in the backing vocal doesn't get out of control. Right, so you can kind of notice how it gets way too loud at the parts where the main vocal comes back in. So I'm actually going to move this track down. Going to select this end part here. And use auto duck. So basically, there we go. It'll kind of mute whenever it detects audio on the track beneath it. This can also be kind of useful when the instrumental is just being an ass and won't let you hear your vocals, but you don't go crazy with it, because it will sound weird if you go crazy with it. I'm just gonna real quick turn this down a little bit so it doesn't get too loud. Sounds like a little too quiet to me. Just a hair louder. Just by a little. Maybe a little more than that. You can hit Control R to repeat the same effect again, and it's really nice for when you aren't exactly sure how loud you want to make something. Alright. Now we're gonna save again. You always want to save before you do something crazy in Audacity, because Audacity is not kind on letting you edit after you make a mistake. Gonna mix and render those into a final vocal track and then do the same thing. Because you'll notice it's... oh. What? Fuck. Okay. There we go. Another good thing to note is that if you make music like this, don't be discouraged by hating every single track that you've ever made, because the reason you hate it is probably because you listened to it 50 times while you were making it. And that'll do it. Okay, so the main purpose behind that was just making sure it didn't clip, because you can introduce clipping if you limit too hard. Yep. Alright, so that sounds better. It's still clipping a little bit in combination with the instrumental, but this song is like 10 years old. And the instrumental is not very high quality. It can't be helped. I'm going to do my best. And so then, of course, the final step is to mix and render these to a final track. And then use the limiter to get rid of all that nasty red stuff. Let's see. Let's little harder than that. Just a little harder than that. Okay. Hopefully, this will make it sound better and not worse. And yeah, I don't think anyone can stand listening to their own voice recorded. If they can, they're probably from space. Because that's a totally normal thing to hear your recorded voice and go, oh god, what is that?
Come
Alright, well, it's still clipping a little bit, but I don't think it sounds that terrible. For a 10-year-old song with a really low quality instrumental, I think I did alright. It sounds too bad. 10-year-old song. But yeah.
No, no, ない夜に落ちた壁の拾い上げたとしてまた先戻ることはないぞ手のひらの上の小さな字僕らの時間は止まったまま思い出すよ初めて会った季節を君の優しくそこへ向かおう今は過去に押し寄せ二人傷つく限り季節見た僕らの心を溶けただけだ重苦しく続くこの関係で悲しいほど変わらない心愛してるのに離れがたいのに僕が言わなきゃ心にごさぶりの雨が当然視界も煙る覚悟してたはずのその痛みそれでも貫かれるこの体一度だけ願いが叶うのならば何度でも生まれ変わってあの日の君に会いに行こうよ声を交わして叫んだ3秒虚しく響く外された鎖のその先は何一つ残ってやしないけど二人をつないでた絆心に届けにしように消えてくさよなら愛した人ここまでだもう振り向かないで歩き出すんだこれでおしまいさ
Yeah. That's good enough for me to call it a day. For me to call it a day. So then we give it one more save. It's important to make sure that unless every other track is muted, you should always, always, always go to export selected audio. If you do anything else, it will export every single track and just really ruin your mix, so don't do that. Alright, sure. Where's my frickin' folder? There are so many covers. Just so many covers. Wait. J, K. Yeah, okay. J is... There it is. No. There it is. I don't want it in WAV. Well, yeah, I do. I'll export an MP3 later for uploading to different places with file limits, but yeah. So we export that, and then you can edit the tag data, so I usually put in artist name, my name, track title, all that shit. Give me like a second. Dixie Flatline. I couldn't remember who wrote the song! So we just fill out this shit here. That's not how you spell it, is it? I's and E's just make me hate life. Year's 2018. Although not for much longer. And then it exports your audio. So, yeah. That was a short stream, but thanks everybody who came. I wanted to do an updated mixing stream since the one mixing stream tutorial-ish thing on my channel was like 3 years old, and I've learned so many new tricks, but since then, it's just so outdated. So I hope that this was informative and helpful to you. If you got here at the end, you can scroll back to the beginning or watch the archive, which will be up shortly after the stream is completed. But yeah, thanks everybody for coming. I hope you had fun. That's not what I wanted. And I'll see you next time.